We always want you to unleash your something amazing. I want you to unleash your purpose, but I also want you to unleash that profit. In order to do that though, you have got to be a fierce visionary. You've got to know exactly why you started this nonprofit, why you started this business in the first place, why you want to make a social impact, and how exactly you're going to do it. And this strategy is going to help you get there. Okay, so some of you may have already heard of this social method, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm translating this over to my nonprofit and how we're using it on that side. Now, this is something that I absolutely 100% to my core believe in, because I actually have a whole course for this called the Fierce Visionary course, and I think of it as a way to use it as a roadmap to profit. So let's start with S in the social method. In the social method, S stands for searchability. Now, a lot of times people will spend a lot of their time on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and all of the fun social media channels that make fast content, right? They make fast content super fun. And that is a lot of fun, and you can get totally sucked into that. But I will tell you, that's probably one of the last things that I actually do, because I don't think that it's going to be the biggest bang for your buck. Now, searchable media, on the other hand, takes a little bit longer, okay? Takes a little bit more thinking, but it stays there forever, okay? And the longevity of the searchable media is something that you are going to get so many benefits from, that will actually help you optimize and put on social media. You can use it for lots of different things, and I'm going to show you how in just a second. So the first part of this super simple strategy is finding how you're going to create on searchable media. And the first thing you have to do is figure out if you are better with audio specifically. Are you better written? Are you more of a writing person? Or are you somebody who likes to be on video and you feel like you can really express yourself there? As you can tell, I love video. But since I run a for-profit and a nonprofit, I decided to spend my energy and time and all of that on the for-profit on YouTube, because YouTube takes a little bit more energy and focus and time and editing and all of the things. And I decided for my nonprofit that we would actually start a podcast. And what we did with that podcast is we decided that we were going to interview people on the podcast that would relate back to our donors, okay? Because the point of the searchable media is for donors to find your organization, say, oh wow, that was great information, they provided a lot of value, I got my questions answered, and now I really want to go and support them. That is the whole trickle-down effect of creating searchable media. That's what you want people to say whenever they find your searchable media. Searchable media are things that can be searched. So as you know, YouTube is one of the largest search engines just behind Google. And then also blogging. If you blog and that's getting onto Google, that is obviously, it's a great way to do things. Now we have Medium for bloggers, and Medium allows you to really write, share it on a platform that other people are looking for things to read, which is a good thing. And then that stuff is also indexed through Google as well. Now podcasts were not being indexed for search for a very long time. And then they finally received this maybe 3 years ago or something. So people had to use a lot of time, like those early adopters, they spent a lot of time marketing their podcasts, and a lot of times they would use YouTube, another search engine, to market those podcasts so that people would come here, see their podcast or find out about it, then go sign up for their podcast and listen to it. But now they've gotten rid of the middleman and they don't necessarily need YouTube anymore. And if you guys have been on this channel at all for any length of time, then you've probably seen a couple of the podcasts that I've recorded. It's just the pure video. It's not edited or anything. It's just the video of the conversation. And it's a way to kind of show you what my nonprofit is doing and how I'm doing that. So we record a podcast once per month, or we release a podcast once per month. And it's usually an interview with someone who's helping parents, giving them some sort of advice or some information. And that's the best way for my nonprofit to get the information out and attract donors and parents, the people that generally are our donors, okay? So when you think about your own organization, I want you to think about what is it that you can share to your donors. Like once you know who your donors are, just like we would call them customers in the for-profit side, once you know who your donors are, you can then create media and create information or a course or whatever for them to purchase from you or listen to. You're just creating the top of your funnel. And I talk about this a lot inside the course, but essentially find a place for searchable media and get that going. So again, look for a blog, podcast, or YouTube channel, anywhere where people can search and find you. So next thing though is social media. So the next piece of this strategy is, this is optimization. And what this allows you to do is to optimize the content that you just made that was searchable. Now these searchable pieces of content are much longer. They're much more in depth. They go in depth about a specific subject, as opposed to social media where it might be something light, quick, you're sharing one quick tip, one quick tactic, whatever it is. And you're going to use that as your vehicle to really share with the people who are scrolling. Now scrolling is much different than searching, right? When you're searching, you're very focused on what you're looking for. You're willing to read, you're willing to listen, you're willing to learn, whatever it is. But when you're scrolling, sometimes you're catching people when they are just mindlessly like looking through pictures, looking through whatever, and they might read a little bit of your text, but they're not at a time where they're primed to buy or where they're interested in donating or listening to a really long podcast or whatever. So on here, the best thing to do would be to take a couple of clips quotes, lots of different ways to repurpose, but you can take little pieces of your larger content and put it on your social media. And that's where you optimize things, okay? Now the next piece is communication, your community and creating that. Your communication with your donors are very important. And I know we all slack on sending out things. I've been there, still there sometimes. So I get that. But what that communication allows you to do is have a direct line with your actual donors, so that you're always kind of top of mind of your donor. And you can put this on a monthly basis, you can put this on a bi-weekly basis, on a weekly basis, a quarterly basis, but basically you're communicating with them at some point in the year. That would be pretty regularly. And once your organization gets up and going, it can feel kind of difficult to do, but it is one of the most important tasks that if you're gonna make something a priority, that would be one of them. So that's that. And then the next thing is I. Now I is influence. That means that you are creating influence. And what I mean by this is you are going onto podcasts to be interviewed, or you're bringing other people onto your podcast to be interviewed. And the reason I say both ways is because when you bring people onto your podcast, they like what they're saying. They like to share that they are on a podcast. So they are helping you then spread the word right to their audience. So if you go onto someone else's podcast, then you're generally going to share with your audience that you've been on someone else's podcast. But when you go on there, we call this OPP inside the Unleash Your Profit course. And what this is other people's platforms, okay? So you're using someone else's platform to share your message, to get in front of a new audience, things like that. And this is a great way to share your mission, share your vision, to share what your organization does and how you can really help enlighten or share, your purpose with more people. And that's what we want to do. So that is your step I. Okay, so now we've gone through S, O, C, and I. Now we're going to move into A. Now, A is all about accelerators. So what are the things that you're doing that can make you go faster? These are accelerators. everyone in their business has things that can make them go a little faster. It could be like you hired someone. It could be that you are automating some of your work. Look for those things that can make your workflows easier and better and faster. Those are the accelerators that we're looking for. So inside the course, I go through a lot of accelerators that would help you just move faster and be more efficient. And those are the types of things we're looking for when I talk about accelerators. And the last piece of this is L. L is leading, learning how to lead, learning how to delegate, learning how to leverage your time. And that's why I talk a lot on this channel about productivity and leveraging your time and leveraging like the energy that you have, because we all only have a limited amount of energy. And if you can find things that can leverage that time and leverage that energy to the best of your ability, that's what you should be doing. So for an example, we hired a bookkeeper, and I know I'm terrible with numbers, but if I hire a bookkeeper, it allows me to not have to worry about that piece, and I can worry about more of the forward facing, where I love to spread my energy, and I love to, it brings my energy up, right? It doesn't bring it down. But if I'm doing numbers, it's gonna bring my energy down, trust me. But if I'm forward facing, it's gonna bring your energy up. So think about where your strengths are, and think about where someone can improve that strength by complementing with with their strengths where your weaknesses are. So it's really good to sometimes just write that down, like here are some of my weaknesses, here are some of my strengths. And when you go to hire someone or bring someone on to help you, then it's much easier to actually, do that, because now you know what you're looking for. So anyway, so when it comes to leading, this can also mean creating some sort of course, some sort of sustainability program for your organization. So one of the things that we use for our organization is we call it the launch party. We do it every year, and it's something that our local area knows all about, and people will come and support, and their tickets are donations, so it's just a fun party. But that is what sustains our program over the next year or two. And as that grows, then our sustainability becomes more solidified, let me just say that. And so it can be something like that. It can be a course that you create. It can be some sort of secondary business that you do inside of your nonprofit. And there are a lot of things that you have the ability to do when you talk about leading, but leading really does require you to be that fierce visionary and focused on where you want to go, focused on that vision, focused on how you want to take your organization. And this is a super simple brand strategy. It's about as simple as I can bring it down and break it down to you. So the first thing I would say before, after you get off this video, is just to think about the best way that you express yourself and how you want to start expressing yourself. Like, do you want to share that information from a podcast or from a YouTube video or from a blog? Like any of those three searchable areas, find one and really focus some of your energy on creating one of those longer pieces of searchable media, and then you can use that to break down into shorter pieces of optimizing media. So that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope that helped. Again, if you are not part of the tribe, come join us, and you can grab your invitation at ashleetate.com. If you're somebody who's starting your organization or you'd like to start a nonprofit and you don't really know where to start, I do have a video out, and also you can sign up for the course if you'd like. It's a 30-day Start Your Nonprofit course. We've sent hundreds of people through there, and I would love to have you on there as well to help you get through that piece so you can actually start your business and get moving, and you're gonna have a blast in there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Unleash your something amazing, guys. Bye.